What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Big East. Now, as they say, all great things must eventually come to an end. So unfortunately, that does mean that this will be the last best of 3 for today, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have an absolute banger to send you guys out. So we've got some more Seton Hall action going up against the earlier champions from today, Butler. This is going to be a tough one for Butler to crack. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Butler definitely 100% needs a win here in order to secure themselves into the top 4. They're currently the 5th seed, 3-3. St. John sitting at 4-3. UConn sitting at 4-3. This is their pathway into the top 4. They have to win right now. And after seeing how Seton Hall won against DePaul, this is going to be a massive uphill battle for Butler. This is the winners finals, and Butler is not looking too great, especially after that win from Seton Hall. Crop is looking pretty strong right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A tough hand has been dealt over the Butlers, right? Like, this is the match you have to win, and you're going up against the heaviest hitters in the league. Seton Hall, we saw a stellar performance just now going up against DePaul University. And so, yeah, who knows though? Maybe the underdogs are exactly what we need to take the first to give the first L, should I say, over to Seton Hall. But only time really will tell, and to no surprise at all, the Vayne Band already coming out here in the first phase.
Yeah, I mean, Crop was playing very, very well on the Vayne the past couple of games. Even Crop was like, yeah, I think Vayne is pretty good into the Ezreal matchup, which we saw Carthago have some success on in the previous series as well. We saw that he also favored those against the tanks as well, which once again, Butler was sporting multiple tanks in those previous games here. So taking Vayne off the table means that Butler can draft a similar playstyle if they wanted to that they did against their earlier opponents today. But now Seton Hall are like, hey, you took Vayne off the table. That means Zeri is still there. Zeri is still available, and they're locking it in.
Okay. Still a little bit of Zeri gameplay coming out. We are seeing the Yuumi being hovered from Butler. Interesting pick. Okay, I was going to be very surprised if that was the first thing they are going to log, but no, it's looking right. They are going to go ahead and get the jungler off the board here with the Hecarim being hovered. 9 seconds to lock in, unless I'm getting baited. I think that would be it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's going to be a Hecarim going over to Voltade. Not seeing him on the Kane this time around, but maybe they realize they need to switch some things up.
The Ashe being hovered right now for Cartha. Okay, we're locking in the Jinx here. I was going to talk about Ashe being the biggest winner out of those micro buffs and nerfs, but it seems like they're still going to stick with the Jinx this time around for the hyper carry. Definitely looking pretty good, especially against if Flurber Burbler wants to lock in more of these tanks here. It should be noted that Sinan's Hecate is in the top lane now, and Flurber Burbler is down in the jungle. So we're not going to be seeing any more of Ivern this rank, at least this game. So we are going to be seeing Flurber Burbler, who is a pretty consistent player up in that top lane. Let's see how they're going to play around in the jungle this time around.
Yeah, I think Seton Hall's funds expired. They didn't have enough money to pay off Butler to not kill Ivern this rank this time around.
Yeah.
So he won't be there this time around. But yeah, Flurber Burbler is going to be in the jungler. Nice. It's going to be in the jungle for this game. I'm curious to see how he's going to perform. Now we do see the Rel actually being picked up here from the side of Butler. Not the pick I expected, but a welcome one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely like Rel along with the Hecarim. They're two very all-in style champions. They're able to dive in pretty hard. Hecarim, a lot easier time getting out than Rel. Like, Rel loses a lot of that movement speed whenever she crashes down and turns her horse into pants. So the horse become pants, Rel become very slow. So a lot of the times, like Leona is a very binary champion with regards to initiations. Once she's in, she is committed. It's very hard for her to get out if she is CC'd at all, which Nautilus can do very well. So in this bot lane, Mojo Rama's going to have to be pretty careful.
Yeah, indeed. And we also see just 2 mid lane targeted bans actually coming out here. The Syndra and the now his name, the Victor. There we go. Slipped my mind for a moment there. Being banned out. They're trying to force your lack of style to, like you were saying, comfort is king. Get that out of here. give him something that maybe he's not so comfortable with, because they need to push every single advantage that Butlers can get, especially this time around when they're going up against such a heavy-hitting team like Seton Hall. That being said, though, the Akali does get locked in. That does mean that there will be counter-pick opportunity for the side of Seton Hall here, and it's looking like, yeah, I'm going to go with the Rise.
Okay, interesting. We did see Rise be on the receiving end of some changes in that kind of mid patch there for patch 12.5. Yeah, we do have some damage increases. We have some maximum mana increases, and we have some changes to the way that his Q works as well. Yeah, this is definitely some changes that Rise will be able to utilize. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it though. I probably would have liked maybe a Malzahar here if we're looking for to like really be a force to like protect the Zeri here. Malzahar is really good against a lot of these dive champions that Butler has drafted here. The Hecarim, the Rel, the Akali, and now maybe also the well, I mean, still against with the Aatrox as well. Malzahar is still pretty good here, and we saw that Ulexile was at least willing to hover it in the previous game. Maybe if we can take a look and maybe see if they played it just a little bit. But you know, Malzahar isn't exactly the most mechanically complex champion, so like I feel like being able to pick him up might not be super hard, even if you're not the most comfortable on him. But Rise is going to be the lock-in here. Silence Hecate is going to be on that Urgot, and we have Zeri and Nautilus in the bot lane, and Flurber Burbler's playing the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like with the comp that they've drafted as well, Butler realizing they're watching the stream, they're like, okay, rule number 1, get onto crop. Rule number 2, get onto crop. And rule number 3, the most important of all, get onto crop and kill him and get him out of here, bro.
I saw the pattern. I saw the lines in my head. I picked on it. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely able to do it this time around. Now, crop is going to be a little bit harder to lock down. The difference between Zeri and Vayne is that Zeri just has so much more movement speed, is that you don't really need to use that tumble, right? Vayne does have a decent chunk of mobility, right? She does have the tumble, but her passive only gives her movement speed towards enemy champions, right? Zeri just gets a buttload of movement speed, is able to dash around that fight, and really hard to lock down. For a lot of these champions that don't exactly have point and click abilities, right? They're all skill shots or non-targeted abilities, right? So Crop should be able to dodge. Theoretically, should be able to dodge around them. Let's see if he's able to execute on that, but that is something you need to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, we have this kind of comp coming up from Seton Hall as well, right? Protect crop. You've got the Nautilus. You've got the Urgot as well. You've got the Rek'Sai, and even the Rise as well. They can just peel quite well if he goes for that Fimble Winter build, for example. He can peel so much for crop, and this time around, he probably won't even have to flash to get in there, as he has so much movement speed just pressing the R in the middle of a fight. And so this is exactly the kind of champ that crop definitely would want to play around, seeing as he is already this very aggressive sort of ADC. Question really is, though, will Carthago be able to match that?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Carthago do very well in this bot lane up against some very strong AD carries in the league, right? We saw him perform pretty well against Toxic Gerbil, who is one of the better AD carries in the league, I'd argue. You know, and he performed pretty well as well. Carthago and Mojo Romo have a lot of practice together as well. You know, they've been playing on Butler for a very long time. These are some veterans of the Butler squad right here. So the two of them have a lot of synergy together. You know, it's not just the names all matching, right? It's, you know, these players do play a whole lot together. I think even before this game started, they played like a 5-man normal before like their games even started today. So like, this is, you know, Butler, Carthago, and Mojo Romo here are definitely going to give a crop a run for their money, at least with their kind of history together and their team synergy, you know. But this is still going to this is still an uphill battle. I still give the edge over to Seton Hall. They're a very, very strong team. Yeah. They're the best team in the league now based on standings definitively. And Butler is playing from behind, and they have to win this game. The pressure is on Seton Hall. They don't have to win anything, right? They could lose this match and still be perfectly fine. The pressure is on Butler. Seton Hall can relax.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a huge point to talk about, right? Just the mental diff that's going to be there, because like you're saying, right, the pressure is on. Everything's on the line right now for Butler. They need to get this win, and I'm sure they were definitely feeling great after picking up that first win earlier today. but that wasn't against a team like Seton Hall, who is, well, a little cracked to say the least. We saw them just now when they were playing. They were looking incredibly clean. They were looking incredibly synergized. They knew what they were doing, what fights to take, which ones not to, what are the kind of their limits are, and they knew exactly when they need to be where. So overall, it's definitely going to be very tricky for Butler, but I always like to be proven wrong. So if any team can do it, maybe Butler's the one.
Maybe. I mean, but I still think my heart and mind is on Seton Hall. What an amazing high to come off of, that previous game. They might be like a little tired, like a little exhausted, because that's still a very close match that they had to win there. But this, up against Butler now, they're no longer in contention for first seed now, right? I think even if it comes down to tiebreakers, I think they still win in tiebreakers because they had beaten DePaul before. So I still think they're first seed coming out of this, right? So once again, I think I want to drive this home that the mental here for both these teams is definitely in Seton Hall's favor, right? They're a very strong team. They could lose this match and still be perfectly fine with their standings.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to allow them to just really just sit back, chill, and just make sure they're not making any mistakes if they're getting nervous. But we will have to see regardless. They're not going to have an easy time because there's no universe where Butler is going to just roll over and take it. But we'll have to see. Per usual, you know how we play this game. Looking at the sums, looking at the runes, anything particular that catches your eye? We're all born for the course.
I mean, everything's par for the course, to be completely honest. There's nothing too out of the ordinary here. No one is deviating and trying out something that they might have seen on like some LCS stream or something. But Flurber Burbler, okay, they're fine.
Yeah, need to be careful there. And so does Valmy, stepping into that bush there. And that is the flash out already 1 minute in. That could be huge.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not anywhere where Butler is giving any sort of quarter this early on in the game. They're really trying to get as many advantages as they can. They've already cleared out that ward that was placed outside the the KFC family bucket on the red side. And they've also been able to force out Volmy's flash. So this is definitely a game where Butler just really wants to make sure that they have all the right tools in order to win this game, because they're going to need it. Seton Hall, very strong team, don't want to be messed with.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Butler realizing that they need to take every advantage they can find and cannot afford to give an inch, because Seton Hall, they've shown that you give him an inch, especially Crop an inch, he's going to take the whole mile.
Yeah. Crop, once again, I think we're still, once again, taking a look at this bottom lane. We're taking a look at this jungle here, Flurber, Burbler, and Voltade. We'll see how Flurber, Burbler plays this kind of bot lane here, as we have a new top laner as well, who's not playing the Tom Kench. He's playing Urgot.
Yeah, Synon's Kate. It's a bit of a new contender this time around. Gonna have to see how he likes to play things in the top lane, right? We've been very accustomed to this Tom Kench coming out, but with the Urgot, definitely opens up a lot of different opportunities.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's the God or the not. That's what we're looking for in this top lane. It's the Bruiser v Bruiser in that top lane up there. So it's definitely going to be a bloodbath. Those two are going to fight probably a whole lot. Aatrox likes fighting, Urgot likes fighting, but Urgot hurts a whole lot if you're not careful. So yeah, Neckington Jr. definitely has to be careful up in that top lane there.
Yeah, absolutely. Even when it comes to these team fights, right, the fear beyond death, it can be detrimental at times if you pull in a high value target and then the whole team is around you. Just that couple of seconds of fear can mean everything in a fight. So we're gonna have to see how he manages to utilize it. Well, though, we do see it in that mid lane that Ulak style has been pushed out pretty far. Maybe both they can look for something sooner than later. But
yeah,
we'll wait to see.
Yeah, it's also important to see how Sinon's Hecate is going to play this lane, because those shotgun knees are very important to making sure that you can trade effectively against your lane opponent. And it's really not because this lane is so far shoved in right now, it's not really a position where Sinon's Hecate can really get that decent harass damage onto Neckington Jr. here. And look at that, those chains being pulled back in. Like this is a much better position for Neckington Jr. right now, even though the wave is shoved in on him. For him to do trades on the Sinon's Hecate than it is for Sinon's Hecate to do trades on the Neckington Jr. right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see Flurber Burbler looking for a little bit of something in the mid lane. Not quite gonna find it though. Someone said gonna move on into the top jungle, see if there's any camps to clear. But nothing will be there, seeing as he is going up against Voltaire on the Hecarim, who is more of a champion that wants to get all the farm in as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Hecarim does have a very good clear speed thanks to that big scythe swing that he can throw around pretty much all the time. Like this is a champion that can farm really effectively and kind of needs to. His build has become pretty expensive. Like he does have a whole lot of pretty expensive items to build in order to do so, and he needs some time as well. Trinity Force plus Muramana, or even Muramana plus a dead man's plate. A turbo chem tank is still pretty expensive to build, so we'll have to see. Needs that time, needs that money, and Voltaire is definitely going to get it at least now. Doesn't seem like Rek'Sai wants to fight anytime soon in the jungle.
Yeah, no, not really looking like it. And speaking of looking, Voltaire was looking for something in the top lane, but can't quite find it. First dragon is going to be on the map, and it's going to be Hextech Dragon. So that is going to be in high contest. However, Butler already on the scene the moment it spawned, and they are just going to grab it. They are not looking to give Butler any sort of opportunities here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good time to do so, right? Like, you have the Wave pushing in the bot lane. Jinx does not want to give up any of this farm because they're so far behind, right? I don't want to say so far behind, but they are behind in CS. So they want to be able to pick this up and get into this late game here. Whereas Zeri just has a little bit more breathing room, right? They can afford to just kind of leave lane for a bit because they're shoved underneath turret, right? Zeri is not exactly a champion to tower dive, but Alexile might be in some trouble here.
Indeed. The Shuriken did hit flashing over the wall, but Butler still comes with him. Levy goes through another ult, but a very nice flash knock up and needs to back off. That was a close one, to say the very least.
Yeah, it was really close. I do actually kind of like the flash over the wall that Style did because it forced Levi to kind of go into that area of the jungle there and kind of force that 2v1 a little bit more for Style there. Really good, especially since Burbler was nearby. They got that 2v1. It was almost a kill as well, so Levi definitely not exactly in the greatest spots right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it ends up just not quite getting the kill. Not enough damage, unfortunately. We'll have to leave it short. But at least he doesn't go down himself. So at the moment, still going to be a 0-0. Just a lot of trading going down. Both teams really looking for that opportunity and showing that they are not afraid to get their hands dirty.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be at this stage of the game. There's so many characters you have that are scaling right now. You have Ryze, you have Zeri, and even to a degree, Urgot needs to get off the ground just a little bit before he can really start to show off how much damage he can really do, and needs to survive in these team fights as well in order to really pop off. So, you know, we're into positions where your team might not have the greatest of early games, and you really need to, Swag Ignite?
It might just
Okay.
The shield he got from the disdain was able to keep him alive, and so the final tick will not take him down. He's gonna take it down though. Voltaire gonna get something here on Flurber as he goes ahead and rightfully claims his red buff, pushing Flurber away from the blast cone, using it so that he can't use it himself. That might have been just huge. We see Levy is here as well. Levi trying to get this kill, can't quite get it, but he runs right into the arms of Neckington Jr. But he's so fast. He's so fast. Voltaire pops the ghost. He's on his tail. He's running after him. He's running him down, and he's gonna get it. First blood, a close call. Almost gets the blast cone, but no, sir. You can't escape the horse.
Yeah, it's definitely, that was really close right there. I nearly thought Blur was out of there. At first, I was not quite sure why he wasn't taking his own tunnel out of there. Maybe it was still on cooldown. I'm not quite sure. It's hard for us to see, and I know those tunnels go on their own like weird individual cooldowns there. So it means that Rek'Sai, yeah, sure, first blood goes over to Hecarim. Not ideal, but you know, it could be worse. Could be worse, but you know, the first blood is very good to go on your jungler.
Absolutely, and that's already just a good move here for Butlers as they take that extra gold. Hopefully they can find some kind of a lead with it. We're already seeing some pings on the Rift Herald as well, because they want to get that as soon as possible. They want to get as many objectives on the map, open up as many opportunities as possible, because Lord knows they are going to need it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the big thing for me here is that with this kind of early dragon take that Seton Hall has opted for here, they now have the kind of, if they are working towards these very early drakes, it does mean that it forces Butler to kind of like fight them later on around these drakes if they're looking to fight. As Silence Heck, they're throwing out a decent chunk of damage on a Neckington Jr. here, but once again, not a whole lot of damage to Urgot's name right now. They really only have these plated steel caps.
Yeah, so overall, just a little bit of trading going down, and now we do see a Voltage on the move, looking to grab this Rift Herald, so he is going to send Neckington Jr. back up in that top lane to shove the wave, give him plenty of time, give him a little space to do it. Levi, same deal, really, just kind of chilling, just keeping eyes on their laner, making sure no one's coming up to disturb him. But speaking of that, the Disdain did connect onto Neckington Jr., had to pop the world ender. The chains aren't going to stop. He gets so much healing coming out, though. Maybe he can turn something around, hits 2 of the Qs, try to hit the 3, doesn't quite get the 3rd proc though, so instead is gonna have to back off. But
yeah,
does still someone come out of that trade?
Yeah, it's still Neckington Jr. once again kind of abusing a lot of the healing that Aatrox kind of has innately here.
Yes.
Silent Teke deals a ton of damage. Urgot's definitely not to be messed with.
Indeed, but when you have 2 people there, it becomes a whole lot easier because Voltage with a very nice gang, and they pick up the kill, gonna drop the Rift Herald, and that's gonna be a whole lot of gold funneled into Neckington Jr.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, once again, a really good start from Butler here. Really good start to their game. They got first blood. They're getting that second kill up into the top lane as well. They're also unlocking Neckington Jr. to kind of maybe roam around the map if they're able to get more damage onto this turret. But they're getting a whole bunch of gold right here, which is really, really good start. Burbler here. Coming in from the side. There's the initiation.
Indeed, Dredgeline does connect. Rel gonna have to dash on out of the Death Charges are following the flash under the tower for the Burbler. Is he gonna get out? He will not. The turret's gonna finish him off. And now Volume needs to dip instead. Mojo getting out with virtually no HP to his name. The very nice flash to actually drag Flurber along with him. On that mid lane, Voltage needs to be careful, incredibly low, and now Levy is here. Yeah, goodbye, good night. Hits him with a 5-point strike, and you are done and dusted. Now we move on to the bot lane, where everything's just breaking down at once. Mojo Roman needs to definitely be careful. A lot of damage coming out onto him. The Ignite did come out on Carhago as well. Voltage is here to help. Ultimate coming out. They're trying their best. Not enough damage coming out, though. And so Crop will go down. Volmy, last man standing. Ultimate gets popped. It connects, and that's a double kill. And just like that, Butler is like, who are you again? You're the top-seeded team? I don't think you are.
Yeah, 4.5 thousand gold is a pretty good lead to have at 11.5 minutes into this game against the top-seeded team, who just convincingly 2-0'd their closest team in rankings. This is a real great place to be for Butler right now, and this is definitely smelling like top 4 territory to me. Like this is looking. This is starting. I'm getting my hopes up. I'm knocking on wood. You can hear it. Here, I'll point my microphone. You can kind of hear it. There it is. There it is. I'm knocking on wood. Butler is looking pretty good to start this game. 12 minutes in, looking like a nice lead they got. This is a good way to get themselves a decent lead, because once again, this is these kind of hyper carries, especially if you have hyper carry versus hyper carry. It really comes down to who's going to pop off first, right? Like if there comes to a point where if Carthago is able to really get a gigantic lead over Zeri at this stage of the game, then it's going to be a lot harder for Zeri to get back into, because she has to now contend with Jinx on the other side, who, you know, these champions who don't normally build defenses rely super heavily on their damage to just kind of carry through, right? The best offense is good defenses. Meanwhile, mid lane, Levi's in some trouble.
Oh, it is a very nice ultimate though, and the E as well to get him out of that sick situation. The Death Charge was popped on him, but Levi will escape out of that relatively unscathed.
Yeah, for sure. Here is now. Yeah, I mean, it was a good idea, but it's so hard to it's so hard to find like a good gank onto an Akali in the middle, especially with that smoke cloud up. Like, it's impossible to really do anything. So good on them for trying to make something happen in the mid lane, get some breathing room for Ulac style. But now Voltage coming in from the side.
Indeed, hitting them with the charge here. A lot of damage coming out. Blur is here as well, doing a whole lot of damage, but it shouldn't matter. It's going to pop the Void Rush, but that will buy you only so much time as he goes down to Voltage.
Yeah, this is now 5,000 gold difference, and this is looking really good for Butler right now. Yeah, I mean, it continues to look good for Butler the longer this game goes on, apparently. We're going to see some power spikes soon. I mean, Crop finally has the Trinity Force onto Zeri here, which is a pretty big button item, but we're still waiting on that Titanic Hydra. We're waiting on that Runan's Hurricane for Crop to really, really pop off on this champion right now. Trinity Force is a real big power spike, but it's not as big as those other 2 items here. So Crop still needs to get there. Is falling behind a little bit in CS right now, and you know, isn't getting as many kills as the Jinx. So we have to still keep our eyes on the spot lane, because Crop has proven that even though they fall behind early, they're still able to get through with these kind of late game characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And both junglers here in this bot lane. And now Voltade does get spotted out by Flurber. Is going to go ahead and back off, go back to farming. Nothing really going to come out of that one as we wait for the next dragon to be up in 2 minutes. Right now, just maybe some solo bowl is going to happen. Placing down some vision here, Ulac style. Trying to get some poke out on Levy here, but nothing really going to quite come out of it. We do see in that top lane, the tier 1 has gone down, and Nekine Jr. has just he's progressed onto just becoming the second jungler at this point. He's just clearing out the jungle of Flurber here. And Flurber is looking to maybe clear out this bot lane. Let's see what he's doing. He's waiting, biding his time, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, it's the best thing to do. Denying Rek'Sai any more gold here is really, really important. Take a look at the CS difference between these 2 junglers right here. 25 is huge. That's at least, I think that's 6 camps, maybe a little bit more than that. Difference between these 2 junglers, and now Rek'Sai has to make ganks in order to be effective here, which, you know, granted, with the Prowler's Claw is going to be a lot easier to do. They're definitely a lot more damage oriented, but they haven't had a whole lot of success so far. Rek'Sai has shown up into some of these fights and gone 0-3. So we still need to see some success from Flurber Burbler here, as Ulac style coming into the top lane, maybe to fight 2v1 Nekington Jr. Sinus Heke wants something.
Yep, the Disdain does connect, and the Frost does as well. The World Ender is going to get popped, but it just doesn't. Oh, a lot of healing actually coming out from that Gorge. So much from the Qs as well. Gets one, looking to make it to the World Ender has come, and he's just absolutely destroying it. A double kill, and we go to a pause, because I guess he just destroyed his PC completely. Like,
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we have a DC from Sinus Heke here. Interesting.
My man World ended the PC, rest in peace. But I mean, that being said, so much healing coming out from the Gore Drinker, coming out from the passive itself, and Nekington Jr. just showing that he's an absolute beast in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might have been gone a little different. I was wondering why Sinus Heke was just kind of standing still there, but now I know why. If he was able to position himself a little bit better around Aatrox, that probably would have been the difference between a death and a kill, right? I mean, that's really the biggest thing here. Like, it's just really, really hard to get the. It would have been a lot harder for Nekington Jr. to survive that had Sinus Heke been able to get that max health damage that the shotgun knees provide.
Yeah, ultimately will come out on top, though he's sitting at a 3-0 now. He's got a sizable gold lead over his respective top laners, so he's definitely sitting pretty. And just overall, entirety of the members of Butlers haven't died once yet. They're all straight up pulling the Ivern at this rank.
Yeah, now as we get back into the game here, we got about 16 minutes on the timer now. 0-9 here as we start as in the favor of Butler so far, and man, this is looking pretty rough for Seton Hall, and definitely surprising after that previous game that we had. You know, maybe, you know, we said Prop was the MVP, but maybe it was Ivor in this rank the whole time, because now we're definitely seeing some sort of correlation here between Ivor in this rank being in the game and Seton Hall not exactly having a good time here.
Yeah, only time can tell. The believers, your faith is being tested in Crop right now. You must stay strong if you want him to get out of this one alive. So we'll have to see if their faith pays off or not. But for now, things are still not looking too great for the side of Seton Hall. They need to find some kind of opening, some kind of opportunity. And speaking of that, they try to find something here on Nekington Jr. under this tower, but to no avail. Instead, only the flash is going to be burned by Ulac style, and now the dragon is being taken by Butlers. Trying to see if they can find something here. Volmy with the death charges, doing quite a bit of damage. Butler needs to be careful. Oh, very nice ultimate, though. Lightning Crack does come down, but Butler Cathargo takes the first kill, takes 2. Looking to get 3 here. Meanwhile, on that top lane, Nekington Jr., he's sparing no one. And meanwhile, now bot lane, they did also pick up an extra kill. And now Ulac style is the last man standing. Gotta hit him with the Everfrost. The super mega death rocket connects, but he should be able to use that blast cone and get to safety.
Yeah, this is a bit of a bad spot for Seton Hall. They needed that dragon there, not just because it gets them closer to a win condition, but because it also gives them an objective bounty as well. These are some pretty big objectives, some pretty meaty amounts of gold on them. 600 gold for taking down the dragon is that objective bounty right now. And that's a lot more than any of these champions here. Besides, it's the same as killing Carthago or killing Neckington Jr. at this point. It's a pretty big amount of gold that you can shove into your pockets. So they had to take that fight around there in order to have a chance of getting back into this game. But now the difference is 10,000 gold. Yeah, that's usually a number that's very hard to come back from if you're Seton Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not a single death being given over to Seton Hall yet from the Butlers. They are serving their job quite well at the moment. Someone asked them, "Hey, give me a no death run." And they're like, "Okay, we got you." And that's what they are serving us at the moment. But we will have to see if that will continue. We have seen Seton Hall come back, not necessarily from worse, but we've seen some members on their team, coming back from a bad start. Though, would I characterize this as a bad start? Maybe more like a bad start to mid, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we're well into this mid game now. We have folks who are getting their second points into their ultimates. We're about 20 minutes in. We're like getting pretty close to the end here, and Rise still does not have that Seraph's Embrace finished. I know it's just the mana that he cares about, but it's still, no slouch in terms of the damage that increases for Rise here. Zeri still sitting on just the Tiamat. Like, we're still pretty far behind in a lot of these cases here. And once again, if you're up against a hyper carry and a team built around them, if that hyper carry gets a pretty significant lead early on, it doesn't matter that the champion is usually good around 30 minutes. It's 20 minutes now, and they have two pretty huge items finished that Lord Dominic's regards, and now Levi, Burbler.
Oh my god, so much damage. Hit him with the shuriken flip, hit him with a 5-point strike, and he was not long for this world. Ulak style running for his life, hits him with Everfrost. So much healing coming out, though, from the Darkened Blade. Is it going to be enough, though? No, it will not. And finally, the first kill coming out here. Meanwhile, though, in this mid lane, Valmy needs to get out of there. Super Vega Death Rocket will connect, though. Crop was not able to block it, and so he will go down, giving Jinx that reset, and that Crop is soon to follow. One more rocket will seal the deal. He goes down too, and now Simon CJ needs to be careful. Is a bit too tanky though, and we'll be able to get out of that one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a complete night and day difference from Seton Hall here that we saw against DePaul. I mean, Butler's a good team, but it just seems like Seton Hall is just not playing the same type of game here. It just seems like maybe they've just relaxed a little too much here. Maybe they don't exactly 100% care about the outcome of this game. Like, they're still playing fine, but it just seems, I don't know, there's just something missing here. I'm not quite sure what it is, but this Crop that we're seeing playing on Zeri does not even look remotely close to the vein that we saw the past two games.
Yeah, definitely some kind of disconnect here at the moment. I'm feeling this just doesn't seem like the same team right now. It's just not the same level of communication and just positioning that we've been seeing from Seton Hall coming out in the past two games from last series, and they are definitely paying the price for it. I mean, we keep seeing they take these fights, they do quite a bit of damage, but at the end of the day, it's just never quite enough. And we see here, Levi, bad spot, stuck between a rock and a hard place and a mage here. It's gonna go ahead and try and run off. Blast going over the wall. Me trying to find something. However, the World Ender has been popped. The chains are there too, but they can't quite catch up to him. It's up to Voltage to try and make something happen, though. Pretty big fear, followed by the Super Mega down the right. Can they make something happen here? Look at the red health bars. They're not going down, but the blue ones are instead. Fear Beyond Death, though, that might just be huge, but it doesn't matter. Still gonna go down. Crop gonna dash over the wall to get out of there. He might be able to escape. No, he will not, because Voltage is there. Should be able to take him out any second now. Actually, he's not quite gonna get him. Double kill going into the hand of Carthago. Neckington Jr. taking out Valmy, and just like that, Crop is the last man standing. If there was ever a time you need to show us something, Crop, it's right about now.
Yeah, it's a 1v4. They've got a super minion wave coming through. Crop should have some decent wave clear here, but I don't know if it's enough in order to stop this push onto the Nexus here. Crop is also pretty squishy as well. He might have an opportunity. He has to try now. Let's see.
Yep. Nexus is exposed, but he just doesn't do quite enough damage. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Butler surprisingly will take game number one.
Yeah, game number one, definitely really really good for Butler here. A pretty short game as well.
Yeah.
Just under 30 minutes here. As man, this is a pretty good game from Butler here. Not much to, I don't think I have much to say about this game. You know, Butler really just showed their own here. You know, like a lot of Seton Hall just quickly fell behind in a lot of these lanes here, especially up in the top. And the jungle did not have much success either, which, you know, had a bunch of gold going to a bunch of folks all around the map. It was odd to say the least. I don't think I have anything else to say. You know, Seton
Yeah.
Hall, this does not look like the Seton Hall that beat DePaul.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it just kind of feels like two or three members were maybe muted and deafened in the Discord or something like that, because it's like we just didn't see that same level of communication coming out, the same sort of like answering to certain plays. And overall, they paid the price for it. But Butler, with a very good showing, they came out, they knew exactly what they wanted to get done. They get it done, they get the leads, and they're able to just run it to the bank, and they get the win respectively. So the question really is, are Butler going to be the first team to hand Seton the L?
I mean, maybe. I guess we'll have to see as we get into game two. Don't go anywhere. Well, when we come back, we'll be in picks and bans of Butler versus Seton Hall in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Not a game, but surprising turn of events. We thought for sure that Seton Hall was going to take this in the bag, a nice little easy 2-0, but Butler, they didn't come to play. They came to dominate today. They were like, no, sir, you're not getting that win without a fight, and they take game one, and they are on the road to giving Seton Hall their first L of the entire tournament. So we're going to have to see if they can make that happen. That being said, though, something to note, we see that Ivern is back in, so let's see if maybe Ivern was the secret sauce holding Seton Hall together.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is. I'm not quite sure, but we starting off this game, we see Flurber Burbler back in a more comfortable position here, back up in this top lane, and Butler right off the bat recognizes that and wants to take him off of comfort, give Neckington Jr. that better matchup in the top lane as tank after tank. These gigantic characters are taken off the board for Flurber Burbler here. And that's really interesting because there's a whole bunch of, okay, they're going to take the Vayne away from Krappa as well one more time, as now Flurber Burbler has the first pick, doesn't have a whole lot of comfortable champions to lock in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, understandably so, right? They want to get rid of. Oh, yeah, okay. Gonna actually pick the mid in first. No surprise there, but like you were saying, right? Trying to get that comfort off of Fleur River and of Crop here, so they take away the Tom Kench and the
Mhm.
Vayne. In the Vayne, obviously, you know, they watched last game. They know exactly how dangerous that was, and they're probably feeling pretty comfortable with their chances going up against Crop's Zeri. That being said, we
Mhm.
do see Voltage once again on the Hecarim. It did him proud that last game. So it's like, why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We run it back. We take those. And actually opting for the victor this time around for Levi. Levi. Oh, is it Levi or Levy? Because I feel like
It's
I've been saying it.
it's Levi, like the
Levi.
jeans.
Okay. Okay. Levi. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is a comfort champion for Voltate here. The Hecarim, he's been playing a whole lot of it this season, as well as in the past as well. You know, he plays a whole lot of this champion here. So, yeah, once again, comfort is king. Hecarim has a whole lot of games on this champion, so definitely looking to grab that for himself. Zyver in this rank is going to play the Graves here. And important to note, Ulac Style finally gets access to that Ari. They've been banned out basically 100% up until this point.
Yeah, maybe we get to see why exactly that was taking place. We'll have to wait and see. You will be going up against a Levi with the victor, though, so it's not going to be a walk in the park, to say the absolute least. And a CP unlocked, you're going for the Caitlyn this time around, since the Jinx
Mhm.
was banned out by Seton Hall.
Yeah, this does mean that we do have a late game Caitlyn on our hands. You know, Caitlyn kind of goes into a trough in that kind of mid game there, but once she's in that late game, when she can start setting up all and chaining headshots together, she's very, very potent. You know, she is one of those champions up there that can go toe to toe with some of these late game carries here. That,
Hmm.
yeah, Seton Hall kind of recognizes something that I was going to bring up here, but that's that Morgana ban here, really, really powerful with the Caitlyn here. You lock them down with that snare that lasts for 3 seconds, and then you
Yeah.
throw a Caitlyn trap underneath, and then suddenly that person is there for close to 5 seconds with how long they've been CC'd. So it's really, really good. They're gonna ban away the Lux too. That's another one. There's another champion that does do that kind of similar job right there. So now Mojo Romo might not be able to pick an enchanter that really synergizes well with Caitlyn here. Might need to go for a more aggressive option.
Yeah, overall, Seton Hall just do not want to give Carthago any sort of opportunity to be paired up with a very good support. We're going to have to wait and see, but the Blitzcrank is actually going to be the call this time around. Interesting choice.
Yeah, interesting for sure. Crop is hovering the Jin right now. I'm not exactly against it. I'm not the biggest fan of Jin in this particular situation. Maybe I'm not quite sure what I would pick here though, considering a lot of the champions have been taken off the board here. So Jin is going to be locked in. I think he sees that like perhaps Zeri might not be the good lock in here. A lot of folks do have that kind of like have Crop's number with regards to that particular champion. Didn't have a whole lot of success on it in the previous game. And now, yeah, the final pick here for Flurber Burbler here does not have the counter pick, but should be able to get something that they're good on. Okay, Mordekaiser is going to be the lock in here.
Okay, also an interesting move, and that is going to be followed up by, the Trigger's being hovered. Is he going to pick it though? It's going to be very interesting if he decides to, especially going up into the Mordekaiser. He's really hovering this thing. If I get baited, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
Okay, he's gonna lock it in.
There we go. It's
Oh,
now
Lord.
time. It's now time for everyone to start playing Tryndamere. I hope you're ready. This game is boring. It's not fun. I'm gonna go on record and say I don't like Tryndamere. I know, controversial statement. Controversial statement. I really don't like Tryndamere. I don't like playing the game of where's Tryndamere now, because he just split pushes for an eternity and then he just gets a billion gold and then you try to 1v1 him and he kills you. Right? It's just not fun. And then you're like, it's okay. I'll just make Tryndamere useless and just like gank him a bunch and then he won't be a problem. Except he still is. He just sits in one lane and auto attacks and kills the minions so quickly just because of how, like his rage works. He's able to get cleave turrets so insanely quickly that Neckington Jr. basically has to be constantly watched. Not to mention that like Hullbreaker is an item that is built on champions pretty much all the time in the top lane. Neckington Jr. is now playing a champion that is really good with that particular item. That is such a great item to build on Tryndamere here. And now with this ghost here as well, that definitely tells me that Neckington Jr. does not want to teleport to any fight ever against Seton Hall. He's going to stay in the top lane, and he's going to split push forever until they're like the tier 2 turret is gone, and then he's going bot lane.
Neckington honestly has just become the new Gary at this point. Like his only focus is just going to be applying pressure on these side lanes and like forcing someone to come match him. Then when that happens, just switch to the next lane. Just push there instead.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that a champion proves shows showing up into a lane where Tryndamere is, it's not a red light, it's a yellow light. And then all that means that you can still kind of turn. You can still go, but it's just a little bit, it's, you have to just gun it, or you have to just make the decision, but you can still turn right or left if you'd like. Tryndamere is just a pain in the butt. I don't like playing against him. I don't like it when my team plays him, because now I have to play around him, and it's just an awful time all around. We've talked to death about this Tryndamere pick. Let's talk about some other stuff. ULAC style is on the Ahri. Ahri has received a bunch of very cool changes recently, and ULAC style, it's one of their most comfortable champions, has been banned out pretty much nearly every game. Liking this Leona Jhin lane a little bit. Jhin, not exactly, it has that decent burst damage early on in these first few levels. That 4th shot plus Leona passive is going to be very potent to deal with. However, being on a champion that doesn't have a whole lot of mobility against a Blitzcrank is going to be very tough to deal with. And then I've earned this rank is on a very aggressive jungler, another ADC. You don't really have the beefiest front line, but they do have a way to kind of turn some of these fights into a 4v3 in some cases, as opposed to a 5v4 with that Mordekaiser in the top lane, so they don't exactly need a second frontliner.
Yeah, so I feel like the QSS tax is going to be huge this time around. If Butler decides to not pay it, I'd be quite surprised, because then easily Flubber can just go ahead, just pull Neckington in, he can pull Volt 8 and he can pull in whoever he wants, right? And just 1v1 him, should be able to win while the rest of his team cleans up. And also, I feel that Crop is going to synergize so well with ULAC style towards his like mid to late game as well. Hit him with the charm, hit him with the deadly flourish, and there's literally just nowhere that whoever gets hit by that can go. Going to be charmed in, CC to all hell. So it's going to be interesting to see how they end up playing things around. But like you were saying, right? No mobility going into the Blitzcrank, who can press W and just sprint at you. It's definitely going to be a little bit tricky, to say the least.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of champions on Butler here that, demand that you play the game differently just because they exist. That Blitzcrank and Tryndamere here are those types of champions. Seton Hall doesn't exactly have champions like that, right? Blitzcrank and Tryndamere demand that you play League of Legends intrinsically different because they just exist in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to see how Seton Hall wants to respond, because I hear those rift noises already, and that means, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting right on the rift for game number 2. If Butler can close this thing out, they'll be hand delivering the first L over to Seton Hall. If Seton Hall can pull this off, however, they still have one more shot at winning and staying undefeated.
Yeah, yeah, well, we'll have to see though, right? Seton Hall definitely sporting the team that they defeated DePaul with here. Whether we're going to a 3-game is up to Seton Hall right now, as we see a 5-point start from them. And as is tradition with every team that has a Blitzcrank, we're going for an invade. There's 5 men.
Yeah, absolutely. That 5-man is there, and so they're looking to send it. No one in try, unfortunately. So they're not quite gonna get anything there. But you like to see it. Still a good little attempt here. Realizing that they definitely need to be shutting down the side of Seton Hall very early, now that they also have their jungler back. My question is, are we going to see him go 0 deaths once again, or will he finally die?
I mean, maybe. We saw how many deaths that Butler was able to hand over to Seton Hall in the previous game. Maybe they'll be able to do it one more time.
Yeah, that's true.
Even Crop wasn't able to get a whole lot of kills in the previous game. We saw how well he played against DePaul as well. So I'm curious. I think Butler might be able to hand I've earned this rank the first death of today.
Damn. Okay, big shoes to fill for Butlers, and that's the thing, right? As much as we keep wanting to kind of compare them to their games against DePaul, then there's just the first game, and all of a sudden it's like, what the hell happened? Like, who is this? This is not This is not the Seton Hall that we know. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a little upsetting, which is why my energy's a little low. I'm gonna be honest. Like it was just kind of like, hey, what happened? Like what is going on? Like I'm so confused. You know, it just didn't. It looked not even remotely the same team from before. As now,
yeah.
Flurber Burbler's in some trouble.
My God,
Welcome to Trindamere.
Yep,
Welcome to
so
Trindamere,
much,
everybody.
so much damage coming out. Both of them will have to pop their ghost. Flurber almost being taken out here by Neckington's just sheer amount of damage. You know, on this bot lane here. Wait, oh, the flash hook connects.
Oh, no.
That might be huge. Ignite coming out. Crop needs to run for his life, but he's getting hit by the auto attacks, and he should fall. The heal comes out, but no, sir. That's gonna be first blood for Carthago, and things are already looking up for the Butlers.
Yeah, I mean, this is already looking pretty good for the Bulldogs here. I mean, Butler Carthago here doing a real good job. That initiation was really good. Volmy flashed just a little too soon in order to avoid that hook right there. And usually from before, when we saw Volmy playing before, was really good at blocking a lot of these skill shots for Crop here. But that flash right there just delivered Crop right into Mojo Romo's hands. It's kind of atypical from what we saw from Volmy in the games against DePaul.
Yeah, this is looking like a bit of a rerun here from game one as well, which would be crazy to see, to be honest here. Butler, if they manage to pull this off, taking out the #1 team in the league, really makes you question, how did they lose these last couple of games that they've been playing?
Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty, it's still anyone's game. I don't want to say that the game is shut and closed just yet. I mean, we are only 3.5 minutes in, but Flurber Burbler's in some trouble here.
Indeed, was able to pop that shield. Meanwhile, though, in the mid lane, Levi is also incredibly low, but is able to flash and get on out of there. Overall, just everyone getting so low, but not quite finding the damage needed to get the kill.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really close. It's really hard to kill Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser does have that post mitigation shield. Like, he has a lot of defenses that keeps him alive in some of these fights as Flurber Burbler. Just doing some wave manipulation right now. Just pulling back the wave and make sure it doesn't exactly crash into the turret just yet. He's going to heal himself up. And yep, he's going to go ahead and start farming one more time. I gotta say, as I've said, I've probably mentioned this on other streams, but haven't mentioned it today. The best thing you can do as a top laner is learn wave manipulation. And Flurber Burbler definitely showing their ability to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Neckington Jr. might have bit off more than he can chew because Nightfall doing a whole lot of damage here. Flurber going to go ahead and pick himself up that first kill here in the top lane, and that is going to be huge for him, as Dragon is also up in 24 seconds. Let's see if we have Ivern pull off the same kind of move that we saw from Flurber, being on that Dragon the moment it spawns.
I just don't think that's going to happen this time around. They have an AD carry that isn't good at taking at killing objectives. Now, let's be clear here. Jhin is good at helping secure some of these kills, right? That fourth shot is as good as Smite some of the times. It's just a whole bunch of burst damage pretty much instantaneously. So it's just it's a good way of securing the kill. It's just Jhin isn't good at whittling down that HP bar, right? So Graves has a little bit of trouble as well, right? But, ooh, we have a fight. Down here.
Easy to play connects, and there's that combo we were talking about. Carthago gonna go ahead and go down. Pulling in Volmy, though. The turret shot should connect, and goodbye. At least they will go 1-for-1. They're gonna drop the level 6 as he dies, though, but that will be a kill going into the hands of Crop.
Yep. I mean, it's a decent. Yeah, I think you're fine with that trade, going 1-for-1 there with the support and the AD carry. You're fine at the end of the day. Like that gold goes over to Crop, which is a real great place to put it. And you know, Butler Mojo Romo, once again, it's the support. It isn't bad that your team picks up the kill, but it's not the most ideal place for your gold to be going for some of these kills. But Mojo Romo got the kill for themselves.
Yep. The hook landing right before Crop is able to go back, though, and he shouldn't be able to get out of this one. One more auto attack, and he is down. That is so unfortunate to see.
Yeah, that's another kill going over the Carthago and down there too. So that is going to be once again just you know, once again, it just doesn't seem like this is the same team that just beat DePaul. I'm not quite sure what's missing here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's looking very lackluster. Really, is the only way I can put it. It's just not the yeah. I mean, there's not really much more to say. That it's not the same team. Speaking of that as well, Voltade gonna pick up something here. I've earned this rank, gonna dash over the wall, but Nekton Jr. is like, no, you are not getting away. Gonna flash over, and it's gonna get pulled into the dimension. Needs to go ahead and pop the Undying Rage. Won't be able to find anything. Has to heal. If he gets hit with Nightfall, he will go down. Is gonna spin Beyblade on out of there. Will just barely dodge. Can he get out of there alive though? I don't think he will. He's trying to heal, but he will not. Will unfortunately go down, and so will Levi if he's not careful. They get charmed, dropping the grab in the field. It's gonna get pulled in, hit with Nightfall, and the passive from Flubber is gonna take him out. And there we go. This is the team that we were looking to see.
Yeah, finally, Seton Hall is able to get themselves some footing into this game and gets a decent chunk of kills onto Flurber Burbler here. And Flurber Burbler isn't playing Tom Kench this time around. He's playing Mordekaiser. He's playing a champion that can actually do some decent damage with these kills, can actually do something with a lot of this gold here. But now, Jerome and Voltade, they're looking for Crop one more time.
Yeah, wow, Flash coming in, the knock up onto Volmy. Instead, heal will be the sacrifice for today. Gonna flash and heal to get away. Should be able to escape. The ultimate coming out from Voltade, unfortunately pushing him closer to his turret.
Yeah, this is definitely looking a little shaky from that gank down there. Definitely a good idea, and we're looking for Crop pretty easily, but luckily Crop was positioned correctly on the other side of the minions there, so he didn't really have too much to worry about here as Flurber Burbler doing a real good job. Look at this wave that he has stacked up right now, crashing into Neckington Jr.'s turret. Holy moly.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
dude.
this is insane. That's a lot of ranged minions. There's going to be a whole lot of damage onto that turret.
Yeah. Current call is being popped. Meanwhile, as they're trying to get this dragon, however, will not be able to deal with the collateral damage. A lot of damage coming out. In fact, Ulac style is going to take out Voltade, and now they're stuck in this Baron pit. They're cut off. Carthago is going to eat over the wall, trying to hit him with the face in the hole. Won't quite connect. Levi will go down. Carthago, jump back in. Why did you jump back in? Because now you're done. And just like that, they are going to take out 3 members from the side of Butlers. Any lead they had, they're slowly giving it away.
Yeah, I mean, Seton Hall is definitely coming into their own now. They had a little bit of a shaky early game here. They got a pretty... They were down a decent chunk of gold, and now this is a great place for Seton Hall to be a real comfortable position now. They're 2.6k gold up on their opponents here. Crop is finally able to grab... Well, I was going to say, finally probably able to grab some more actual damage items into his pockets besides just the Swifties as well. And, you know, this is definitely a good place to start for the rest of their team, because they'll need some time in order to scale back into this game, right? The Graves takes a while and needs to get some items under his belt. This is going to be the same thing for Jin as well. Ari will come online a little bit faster than these folks, and Mordekaiser as well, but you know, it's really going to come down to Crop one more time to be kind of the main damage dealer here.
Yeah, Necklin Jr., he's just sending it in. He does not care, and he's going to heal, doing quite a bit of damage, but still needs to be careful. Doesn't want Flubber to get any more ahead than he already is. Is 2-0 at the moment. You see a little shutdown on him, so I'm sure Neckington is foaming at the mouth to grab it. And now Levi is here as well. Chaos Storm is going to get dropped, and so will Flubber. That's going to be a nice 450 gold going into the pockets of Neckington Jr.
Yeah, I've earned this rank has come up to just catch this wave right here, make sure Neckington Jr. doesn't get a whole bunch of value off of that kill right there. But yeah, this is really good for Neckington Jr. Once again, we still have to play the game of yet to play the game of Tryndamere just quite yet, but you know, that is looming in our future as Tryndamere, I think, is building towards that towards either their mythic item or towards the the hull breaker right now.
Oh yeah, hull breaker. I think probably towards the Gale Force. It's looking like with the pickaxe. So you know, surprised they're trying to just chase him down. Gonna have to wait and see though, as Mojiromo just looking to push, trying to get some kind of hook, but nothing really gonna come out of it. Dragon isn't up for another 2 minutes. Baron isn't up for another 9. The Rift Herald is on the map, but we're not really seeing anyone moving for it just yet. Voltade did scope it out, gonna drop the vision, but is gonna go ahead, head on back. So for the moment, we're just chilling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we take stock of where we are right now, about a 1.4 thousand gold lead in the lead is Seton Hall. They got some decent CS advantages across the map here, but the CS advantage is in favor of Butler throughout the bot and the top lane here. it's not like Butler has fallen too far behind just yet. If you are a Butler fan, there's still a lot to like about this game so far. They still have some decent gold on to Carthago and Neckington Jr. right now, two champions that can do really well with a lot of gold and do a whole lot. So, you know, if you are a Butler fan and you're looking for them to close out, there's a whole lot to like about this game still. So
Yeah.
we're not out of the, Seton Hall is not out of the woods just yet. And does it look like to you that Caitlyn is just hovering above the ground?
It did kind of look like that, actually.
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Can we see Caitlyn one more time? Can we pan over to Carthago? What's up?
It does look. What?
Yeah, what's up? What's
What
up,
is
Caitlyn?
that?
What's good? Hello?
She's ascended, bro. She's found her final form.
Yeah. She got into the Shadow Temple and found the hover boots. What's up?
It's a little strange, but that aside, though, meanwhile, moving up to the top lane, Neckington Jr. Once again, this wave of pushing in. Really just not that much going down. Dragon not up for another 50. Both teams are just playing safe, looking for that opportunity, looking for that opening to try and find something and then push an objective.
Yeah, I mean, it's really close right now, and it's still anyone's game. I keep saying that Seton Hall is in the lead right now, but any sort of play can kind of blow it open right now. As Neckington Jr. It's just a trade back and forth, but now he has to pop that heal.
Is in the dimension as well, looking to do a whole lot of damage. Gonna have to pop Undying Rage. Can he get him in time? No, he's got Flubber on the run. One more auto tech should seal the deal, but he couldn't quite get it, so he has to actually fall back. And meanwhile, Mojo not quite gonna land that hook. So we'll have to go ahead and back off and shave as he missed.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're looking for Ivor in this rank to really get this damage on pressure Neckington Jr. right now. He doesn't have that ultimate available, so this is the best time to pressure the Tryndamere. Problem is that buckshot keeps going and hitting the Tryndamere right there and taking turret aggro. So Ivor in this rank can't stay there for a very long time. Meanwhile, in the bottom half of the map, Butler is going to be the one picking up the dragon. So they're 2-0 in terms of dragons right now, which means Seton Hall is going to have to put a lot more priority on these drakes if they don't want Butler to grab the dragon soul.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that dragon as well, that just helps them mitigate the gold deficit at the moment. Only at about 1.7k. So it's nothing too sizable just yet. Definitely still manageable. When you're looking at the kills, you would think it's a whole lot different with 3-0 on Ulac style. Once again, Ivor in this rank, still 0 deaths. Can someone please take out this man? As much as I want to, after, you know, I want to be unbiased. I have to be unbiased. He can't keep getting away with this. Like, there's no
getting away with it. That's the new tagline for Seton Hall. That's the new, like, if y'all had like a tagline before. Now it's they can't keep getting away with it. That's your new tagline. You're welcome. That's for free. You can just have that. That's you're welcome.
Damn, he's giving out free game.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh my god. That being said, the X flash into the next push here. I think he's still got spotted out. A cool little attempt though, but I don't know if anything's gonna quite come out of that. Clearing some vision meanwhile, and just overall, not too much has been happening. The balance hasn't really been shifting. Gonna have to wait and see when the backs come through, some items to be bought, but overall, not too much going down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at this point, wait a minute, we might have found out Voltade here.
Yeah, just to say that, yeah, do a little bit of damage, but Voltade gonna go ahead and dash to the safety of his turret.
Yeah, I mean, that's some pretty aggressive. Carthago, holy moly.
Damn, nice little combo there, but not quite gonna find a kill once again. Just not quite having the damage that he needs. Neckington Jr. pushing in that wave. Voltade doing a little farming here and there. Overall, both sides just waiting for that opportunity to find that engage, find that opening. And I mean, it's also nice to see, right? I think Butler's kind of realizing, okay, you know, they kind of really handed us that first game there. This time around, they're not going to make it that easy for us. So, you know, got to play safe. Don't want to end anything just yet. Meanwhile, in that top lane, so much damage. Welcome to the Tryndamere show, ladies and gentlemen, because Neckington Jr. not even going down to half health, just auto attacks Butler to death.
Yeah, it turns out Neckington Jr. has the Millennium Puzzle, giving them the heart of the cards, making it very easy to win those shadow games that Mordekaiser is challenging Neckington Jr. to. So, once again, we cast our eyes into the top lane and see as the game of Tryndamere looms in the distance.
Ever so slightly coming closer with every waking moment. But We'll have to wait and see. Mojo with the Hex Slash over the wall. He's getting ready as soon as the turret goes down. He's going to try and go for it, though. Oh, so incredibly low. Carthago needs to dip, though, taking one too many turret shots. A very nice hook. Get him over the wall, but Flubber Bubbler, he is running down Carthago, and he can't quite dodge Nightfall. Good night, your soul has been reaped. And now Mojo trying his best to run. Gonna pop that W, but nowhere for him to go. Meanwhile, in the river right now, Flubber is in a terrible spot. Gonna use that grass to push them away, but it does not matter because Void Assault is there. Sit down. The curtain has been called. Silence your cell phones because a whole lot of damage is coming out. Levi trying his best to just bob and weave. Is going to flash, but the Xenoblade still connected. Followed up by the Q. Can he get out of this one alive? I don't think he will. That, sir, is why you turn off your cell phone in the theater.
Crop, the usher you didn't want to have to deal with. He can see you. He knows when that little light pops on in the middle of the seats. He knows what's going on. You can't keep your phone on during the movie. You're going to ruin it for everyone else. Thank you so much for your service, Crop, for silencing the phone in his heart. A really good team fight there for Seton Hall. A little bit back and forth as well. Butler got some wins out of that as well. This is, once again, really close. I think they ended up getting that bot lane turret at the end of all that after that real long chase of Caitlyn.
Yeah.
So they're able to stem some of the bleeding from that win right there, but Neckington Jr. might be in the wrong place. Oh, does have the Undying Rage ability.
He has the Undying Rage, and his boys are there to back him up as well if they can get there in time, but they are just a little bit too late. Neckington Jr. did have to pop the Undying Rage. The Beyblade is weighed on out of there.
Yeah, this is definitely looking to be a it's definitely looking to be a much more even game than we saw in game number 1 here. But Butler is still in a pretty good spot right here. They're not super far behind. They're down about 2.4, 2.3k gold lead right now. This is definitely looking pretty good for them still. They're still somewhat in the driver's seat. They still have some leeway to work with. Even if they lose this game, they're still pretty comfy getting into losing this game if not if they have to, but if they do, they're like, okay, we still have a game 3 to go to, even if things go wrong. So even though Butler is behind right now, it's not by a whole lot. They're still playing very well, and they still have another game to do, even if things go south.
Yeah, absolutely. And SHU picking up their first dragon, now looking to make that gold differential as large as possible as they pick that up. Looking to move to the spot lane here and take out Neckington Jr. Doesn't have his ultimate, so he needs to use everything he can to escape, but he did get hit by the charm and is gonna go down. Ulax style, just a bit too cute for him to handle, and he will go down.
Yeah, Ari coming in. God. That was I mean, that's basically what you have to do against Tryndamere, right? You have to basically catch him out every single time you know that his ultimate is down. His ultimate is a very low cooldown, so you have to make sure you're exploiting that as much as possible, that cooldown, right? Because there's going to be very few times where you can. So making sure that you know every single time that you do it, making sure that you follow making sure that you're tracking that cooldown so that you can find the kills and shut down Tryndamere whenever he shows up.
Yeah, absolutely doing a great job of that. And I keep looking at him, man. Ivern, this rank is still deathless. Someone kill this man. I'm about to put out like a real money bounty on this guy's head, bro. Someone's got to take him out. Dude, this is ridiculous.
I will Venmo you $10. That's not true. Don't do that. I'm not going to do it. If this game goes on any longer and he still has not died, if we get to a game 3 here and Ivern this rank at about, I'll say 15 minutes, has not died, I will Venmo you $10 if you kill him.
Bounty's been placed on his
Not
head.
because I want Seton Hall to lose. I just think it's just impossible to kill this guy. I just want to see if he can be killed. I want to see if he's actually mortal. That's what I want to see.
Got a limit test at this point because something is just not. Something's wrong here. There's a glitch in the matrix right about now.
He ate his Wheaties. He found the fountain of youth.
Yeah, dude. He's been eating his greens.
He a genie. He got a wish from a genie or something.
Yeah, for real. But we're going to have to wait and see. Baron is on the table now. So if a team can get themselves a substantially large pick, they might just be able to go rush that and see if they can channel that into something. But we'll have to wait and see at the moment. Just some backs coming through. Items are to be bought. A little bit of farm is to be had. And so we're going to have to wait until a new altercation presents itself.
For sure. Is now Ulex style looking for Carthago over the wall here. Might be
Indeed,
in some
not quite
trouble
gonna
though.
find it, indeed, and get down, Mr. President! But there's no one there to get him, and so the ace in the hole will connect and take out Ulex style. Taken out in quite the stylish fashion. Meanwhile, Levi, so incredibly low, comes out of the death realm just to be killed. He survived for so long, but then the shotgun to the chest is what ends him.
Yeah, Yami no Gemu. Mordekaiser's finally able to get those star chips, the locator cards, your Egyptian god card. He finally came through. He's closer to Battle City Finals.
Oh, that minion, bro. The Winion tanking that hook for him. Sure, Crop is counting his lucky stars, and so they're gonna have to go ahead and fall back. And meanwhile, we just got split push tournament, just chilling in that ball lane, making people realize that he's there, right? You gotta come match him, you gotta come stop him, or he's just gonna take your whole base. And we see that Flubber, Ivor, and this rank are all looking to move in over there to try and stop him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is once again like, this is still a game that Butler is still in. They're still in this game. Like, this lead that Seton Hall has right now is still not that high. I keep repeating myself. I feel like I keep repeating myself because you know, Seton Hall is a very, very strong team, even though they might have had possibly the shakiest game one I've ever seen them play. You know, like, this is still a team that you have to respect. It's still a team that plays very, very well, and they seem to have flipped the switch back to on this game as well. Ivor in this rank is still unkilled, and Crop is doing pretty well for himself as well. 3-2-5 is not a bad score to be sitting on right now. Like, this is a pretty good place for Seton Hall right now, but I still want to highlight that it's still anyone's game. Butler is still in this game. It's not shut and closed just quite yet.
Yeah, oh my god, the Flash E ultimate. The hook won't quite connect, though, to finish up the combo. Big sad. God, I would have had a heart attack if I was you like Style. I got scared, and I'm just casting this thing. He just appeared out of nowhere. Not quite gonna get that kill, though. But yeah, it's insane that even though it is 14-7, right, it's still anybody's game, honestly. Just like, if you just looked at the kills, you looked at the death stats, you would totally think that SHU is taking this thing home. But despite that, Butlers, they're still holding on quite well against such a strong team. They're holding their own. They will not have their playoff spot taken away from them. They will do whatever it takes.
Yeah, they're really fighting for this last spot here. It's really important to Butler. Like, once again, they need to get into that tiebreaker situation in order to gain a chance to get into the finals, right? This is their last chance to do so, and they're starting off this fight real well.
Indeed, hook over the wall, gonna take out Ulex style, and with that, they might just be able to get this dragon. They have control of the river. Curtain Call is coming down, gonna do a whole lot of damage. Gonna see if they can maybe steal it. No, they oh my god, they actually stole it as if, dude. It's gonna go down, though, however, so they might be losing this fight, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Those red health bars are going lower and lower. Voltate is stuck in the death dimension, pops the ultimate to get away, and is gonna be able to escape. So at least they get 2 kills, but they do let Ivor in this rank steal the drag and get out scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Ivor in this rank does it again. He gets into a fight that's pretty nasty. He steals the Drake, and then he gets out without dying. He's done it again. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but he keeps doing it. And Ivor in this rank really, really showing that he has earned this rank. He's a Grandmaster player, 500 LP. That's pretty good. Yeah. That's a pretty good for considering, like, you know, in comparison to everyone in NA, Grandmaster. Wow. And he's really showing it off in these games, how he just has not died, has made really good macro decisions, been playing from behind pretty well as well. Like, this is a guy you really want on your team, and man, it's really lucky for Seton Hall to have a player like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to imagine, like, the Discord DMs between the entirety of SHU and Ivor. That one game they didn't have him, like, listen, man, please, we need you back, please. We're about to get embarrassed, bro, please. And it's like, fine, whatever, I guess. Okay.
Fine, whatever, I guess. I wanted to take a nap.
No rest for the wicked, though. But at the moment, as it stands, there is definitely still possibilities for Butlers to come back, so don't count them out just yet. Meanwhile, on that top lane, Nekadin did have to pop the ghost, trying to get away. He does a little twirl on him just to flex on him before he runs back to his turret. I don't really know what it was for.
Just a little twirl.
You get style points. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I don't know how else to call it, but yeah. Yep, that's some definite style points for picking up just a little twirl, running back into the bush. Caitlyn is still hovering. Caitlyn is still definitely not attached to her. She's definitely pulling a Peter Pan. Not attached to her. Not attached to her shadow. Needs to have its stone back on. Man, where's the other main character from Peter Pan when you need her? What's her name? Laura keeps coming to mind, but that's not it.
Yeah, no.
Is it Lily?
Is it Wendy?
Oh wait, Wendy. Yeah, Wendy, where you at? We need you to sew. We need you to sew a shadow back onto someone. Yeah, they've lost their shadow again. Oops.
Yeah, it happens. You know how it be. It's very jarring.
Yeah,
though,
sometimes it just happens.
I can't unsee it now. It's terrible.
DAE, lose your shadow.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That being said, though, back to the game.
Yep.
As we see at the moment, just a bit more shoving into these waves here. Once again, one of those kind of a lull moments where both sides just farming up a little bit, trying to see if they can make something happen. We do have Neckington Jr. once again in that top lane, looking to just push. A little surprised that he's not whipping out the Hull Breaker, seeing as he is split pushing so much. And at the moment, he's just not really in the position where he can take a lot of these fights.
Yeah. It's really just I think now he's able to do so with this Navari quick blades. Like now he's definitely in a position to be taking these fights. Neckington Jr. for sure. I mean now we're really looking at this Tryndamere now, because now he gets to play Tryndamere. Now we're playing Tryndamere. The entire game is now Tryndamere. Behold, Navari quick blades. Whenever you crit, you reduce the cooldowns of your other abilities. At full rage, I believe he always crits. I think Tryndamere
easily have
100%.
Yeah, easily have 100% at full rage, so it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, he just spins all the time. You can never actually catch him. It's really annoying. He even gets like ability haste that like reduces the cooldown of his ultimate too. Like it's just really annoying. It's just welcome to Tryndamere, everybody. Hey, you thought you were playing League of Legends? We're playing Tryndamere.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Dragon is up in 40 seconds, so I have a feeling this is the moment where we're gonna be seeing a bit more 5-on-5 action, unless of course Neckington Jr. decides he's like, nah, I enjoy this whole split pushing thing. This is my calling.
Yeah, I mean, so that's basically what I'm expecting to see from Neckington Jr. for as this game goes later and later, right? He's gonna be a lot harder to deal with. He's going to be a lot harder to answer, right? And in a lot of these cases, like Flurber Burbler needs to match and will have the teleport advantage. However, if he leaves Tryndamere alone, that's essentially what Tryndamere wants, right? Tryndamere wants to take every single turret from you. And if you give him the ability to do so, he will do it.
Oh my god, that charm, huge damage though, and that's Levi off the board. Gonna fall in love with Voltage. Needs to run for his life. Gonna pop the ultimate just to be safe. Meanwhile, in this mid lane, Neckington Jr. is stuck in the death realm. Ace in the hole does connect. He won't quite get it though. Very nice ultimate auto attack coming out, dare I say. And now they've got Mojo on the run. Nowhere for him to go. Will go down, and SHU is looking to, well, not close the gap, but actually make the gap even further.
Yeah, I mean, this once again, they want to maintain this top seed one. They worked real hard for it, and now they're going to maintain it as they are now approaching this 3 Cloud Drake Cloud Soul, which is going to give them a whole lot of movement speed. It's going to be very hard to actually move away from this team fight as they initiate on you. It's like they have 2 strong initiators already. Crop is very quickly becoming the speed, the fast, whatever you want to say. The Jin with the 4th shot that runs really, really quickly. Like, this is going to be something to watch. Shot on the wall.
Oh, beautifully done. The 3rd time in a row now that Ulac Style has managed to pull something off like that. 2 times over at the Dragon Pit, this time at the Baron Pit. And every single time he's managed to do that, that has always spelled absolute dismay for the side of Butlers. They've always been that one man short, and then they just get picked apart by the seams.
Yeah, it's now looking a lot tougher for Butler now. If you're the Butler fan, I was saying before that they have a way back into this game. That ship is starting to sail, and it's that ship is manned by the pirates. You know, the Seton Hall now is in a pretty commanding position here. They have the Baron buff. They have 3 Drakes under their belt. This is going to be really tough to actually deal with. Neckington Jr. might still be able to push onto this, but he needs to run for his life right now.
Oh, that was a huge crit, taking away half of his HP. Will go down once again. At this point, he can't even split push anymore. They're looking to just cancel the Tryndamere show at this point. They like, get it off the air. I don't want to see this.
Yeah. Cancel the Tryndamere show. Yeah, take it off air. Tryndamere and Firefly. What do they have in common? Cancel. As now we see this kind of push, which is probably going to be a little bit more successful from the Mordekaiser down here in the bottom lane here. Is now Mordekaiser does have very good wave clear now, and they have this really good 4-man push into the mid lane here that has to be answered by the entirety of Butler, because Neckington Jr. is still dead for another a little bit more than 10 seconds here. Is now they can now rotate to go help Burbler, who's going to be trying to take this inhibitor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Could quite get to that tier 3. Let me see, get this tier 2 out of the way now that's down. They still have these siege of minions. Neckington Jr. just now respawns, so at least they'll be able to get their minions up into that turret, do a little bit of damage. Let's see if they decide to actually try to just completely take on the turret. The hook does connect, though. That's huge damage. Lurber is down. Look at his blue health bar. Dulac style goes in, but you're in the worst spot of your life because you are done now. Does go gold, but won't find a way to escape. Oh my god, Neckington Jr. almost dying to the super minions. A very nice dash, though, coming out from Ivern in this rig. He saw death coming, and he was like, no, do you not get my bit? I don't die, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if you picked up on my whole shtick here. I don't die. I'm not allowed. Like, literally, I called up Big East. I had them talk on the phone. They told me I was the main character. I'm not allowed to die.
The script forbids it. Anyone that does it is disqualified.
Yeah. I did actually read that in the rules. Don't. That's not the rules. I want to be clear. That was a joke. That's not the rules.
For integrity purposes.
Yes, for integrity purposes. The rules of the Big East do not state that if you kill Ivern this rank, you are banned.
This is our own custom rulebook that we're making.
This is a bit. We're doing a bit.
the old joke, the old funny, just in case.
Yeah. We're just making a hee hee ha ha. A guffaw, if you will.
Ah, I see. Good
guffaw, yes. Yes. Having ourselves a chuckle, if you will.
Me and the lads.
Yes, of course, me and the lads are having a bit of a chuckle here.
Oh my god. That being said, though, SHU is looking to have a bit of a chuckle once they get to this first game, and ever so slightly they inch their way forward to getting the win. Right now, there is only 2 inhibitors left standing. The mid is just completely cracked open, and Butlers can really, well, they can't even afford to fail another team fight, because if like the majority of them goes down, that can easily be it, as you just have so much pushing potential from Ivern, from Crop, from Ulac Style, and Flurber. Just that whole team can do so much with so little time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely looking pretty good for Seton Hall right now. They do have that Baron buff has worn off, so if Butler wants to fight, this is definitely a good opportunity to do so. They have a 4-man stack. They have a 5-man stack in the mid lane. It doesn't look like there's really any sort of objective to fight over just quite yet. The dragon is spawning in about 20 seconds, and I definitely think Butler does not want to give over this 4-stack Cloud Drake, Cloud Soul over to Seton Hall. But this might be the final. If Seton Hall wins this next team fight, this could be the end of the game right here. They are waiting. They have the vision around the corner. They're waiting for someone to do a misstep here. Butler, Mojo Romo doing the check over the wall. They spot them out. There's the charm. There's the initiation.
Indeed, it's so huge. A lot of damage coming out. Not quite going to find everything just yet. We'll go ahead and block the 8 and hole. But the Tryndamere is here, but he's taking solo that he insta to pop the Undying Rage and should go down before he can do enough damage. There he goes. He's taken out. Next up on the list is going to be Levi. They're looking to get a boom. He's down too. Next up on the list, Carthago. He's gone as well. And it's all up to Mojo. Bolt Aid did end up backing, so he will stay alive. Mojo trying his best to do whatever he can, do as much damage. Actually gonna flash over the wall. He's just trying to buy his team as much time as possible, but it doesn't even matter because SHU's like, dude, we don't even need this dragon. We're just gonna take your Nexus, and down he goes. And Bolt Aid's just chilling in base. He's like, yeah, this is happening. And so, ladies and gentlemen, SHU are not going down without a fight.
Yeah, Seton Hall comes after that really shaky game number 1, comes out really strong in game number 2 here, pulls out a really good victory over Butler University, and this was pretty close. This was pretty close between these two teams here. I don't want to say that this was if you think this was a stomp, that is incorrect. Not even remotely close. This was a very close game between these two teams that was able to be irked out kind of towards the end here with that very strong Baron power play as Seton Hall was able to do towards the end of the game. And plus, it's a pretty decisive team fight at the end as well.
Yeah, Absolutely. I mean, it's like it's just slowly. It felt like Butlers were slowly losing kind of control of that game, and then these little micro losses were all compounding together. And then as time sort of went on, it was just the natural order of things, and Butler just slowly began to lose their grip on the game. And then ultimately, Seton Hall is able to come out on top. But Butler held their own so incredibly well, especially during the early and mid game. Sad to see them falter so close to the end, but they still have one more game to do it. So it's not over yet. Whether you're a Crop believer or a Butler deceiver, makes no sense, but I like the rhyme of it. I like the sound of it. I don't know. We'll just go with it. Point being, there's one more game in store. This is going to be the deciding match. You don't want to go anywhere. You want to see this. Stick around. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This truly is the beginning of the end over here at Big East. That sounds a lot more like Big East is ending after this. I didn't mean for that to sound like that. But point being, the end of the series is upon us. This is the last match, game 3, with SHU taking 1 and Butler's taking 1 as well. So now these two teams will clash, and the winner will be decided in this game. There are no ties, there are no friendly gestures. No, it's a battle to the death. That being said, Butlers are looking to give Seton Hall their first loss of the entire tournament. And Seton Hall, obviously, respectively, is trying to stay undefeated. Butlers have managed to pull it off once. Can they pull it off again is the real question.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all eyes are on Butler right now. So many folks need to be paying attention to this game. UConn, St. John's, they are all going to be tied for 3rd place if Butler wins this match right here. That's what we need to watch out for. Butler could make themselves into this top 4 here based on tiebreakers, and St. John's and UConn need to be worried if they win this match here, because beating Seton Hall will give them some pretty great tiebreakers coming into the top 4, which is going to be very, very soon. As now, game number 3, let's see if Seton Hall can maintain their undefeated streak, or whether Butler can get themselves into that top 4. This is game number 3, and we're ready for first pick. Flurber Burbler one more time. What do you got? What do you got for us? Leona. All right.
Okay. Respectable pick. Was doing Lord's work in that last game, setting up some crazy engages, and overall just a solid pick. Yeah, I feel like someone rang the Butler's handbell and was like, deliver me Seton Hall's first loss, please. And then Butler was like, okay, I got you. And they came out swinging in game 1. Game 2, Seton Hall were like, damn, these guys don't play. They must have thought for sure, like, wow, this is gonna be an easy stomp. We can just, we can play around a little bit. No, sir. Butler came to dominate today, and they realized that. They step it up in game 2, and they take the win. A hard-fought victory, but a victory nonetheless. And so now it all comes down to this, and we do see the tried, true, and trusted Kane coming out here for Voltade.
Yeah, they're going to lock in the they're going to be playing the Kane this time around. Voltade not opting for the Hecarim this time around. A bit of an interesting change here. I mean, I don't think the Hecarim was the reason for the loss there. I think Hecarim was perfectly fine. I don't think there was even a drafting issue from Butler before. I just, I don't see why the change into Kane here, and pretty early on too. Like, that's a really early lock into the Kane here. They're gonna lock in the Yumi as well, which means this Kane is gonna be really, really hard to kill. But we're going back to season 11. There's the misfortune.
Okay. Gonna be interesting to see it come out here. Now, this is gonna be crucial who Butler ends up picking for their ADC, because it's like we saw in this first game of the, like, way back 5 hours ago, for anyone who was still there. It's like, when you have that Yumi as a support, it's all on the ADC's footwork and just knowledge on making things happen. And they are going to go ahead and grab the Ezreal for Cathargo.
Yeah, I mean, Ezreal Yumi is a lane we've seen for quite a while. Has lots of poke damage, is really, really safe, very hard to gank, and very hard to have some sticky damage onto, especially. That's really good against the Misfortune, who, that double up passive, as well as the Q that she has, as well as a whole lot of incidental damage that, if you're not positioned correctly against the minion wave, can be a lot of damage. So picking up the Yumi here, definitely, along with the Ezreal, means that they can play pretty far back, still be able to farm if they need to, especially with how long range Ezreal's Q is, and be pretty safe when a gank comes through from Ivern in this rank, or even an engage from Volmi down in the bot lane there. As now we're looking one more time as more and more top lane bans are thrown at Flurber Burbler. Okay, we're gonna ban away the Syndra from ULAC style here.
Yeah, understandably so, but we've seen that ULAC style. He's got a plethora of champs to choose from. The Ari was banned as well. No surprise there. After the 3rd time being charmed over the wall and just absolutely murdered, I wouldn't want to see Ari either. So, can't really fault him there. And with that being said, pick phase 2 is underway. Let's see what Butler has in store for us. The nerves, the pressure is at an all-time high at the moment, and they are going to go for the Ori lock.
Yeah, Orianna is a champion that is good no matter what kind of meta it is. I mean, I am firmly believe that Orianna is the best champion in League of Legends, hands down. Orianna is good no matter in multiple team compositions. She's good no matter what kind of meta there is. Every single time a world's meta tries to eke its way out, Orianna somehow is always there, right? As one of the best champions to play. She's really good and she doesn't really have a whole lot of bad matchups. Like, this is a really good champion to lock in if you're looking for something a little safer. And plus, you also have a ball delivery system with Neckington Jr. here. It's going to be a little awkward. I'm not quite sure how the ball interacts with Emerald Trespass. I'm going to assume that it goes and kind of leaves wherever or goes back to Orianna, but we'll have to see. This is definitely a good place to be if you're Butler. We have a lot of strong picks. We just need to see something for the top lane right now.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping for something like tanky, beefy coming out, like a real bruiser coming out for Butler, because right now, even if they end up grabbing the red form King, I do still feel like they are a little bit on the squishy side, and they're hovering the cannon and the Malphite. Can't quite choose. Do the Malphite. Do the Malphite. You won't.
Yeah, I think the
Do
Malphite's probably the pick here. I think the Malphite's the lock in here because if the enemy team, if you did not have a very solid frontliner that was going to be stacking armor, your team is going to have a whole lot of trouble because lethality is going to be the name of the game when it comes to Graves, when it comes to Misfortune. If you're not stacking armor, if you don't have a whole lot of armor underneath your belt, these abilities are going to be doing a whole lot of damage to you. Maybe this is even the game where, maybe even Ezreal just picks up, plated steel caps in order to just mitigate some of the damage from Graves and Misfortune if they opt for lethality builds.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna have to wait and see for that. And also, I just want to go back to that Ori pick. It's like we were saying, that is such a safe pick, and it's exactly what Butler's need right now, because just showing from that first game, they definitely have what it takes, right? They just need to micromanage a little bit more, because we saw in game 2 especially, they just kind of would take losses here and there, nothing too big, but in the grand scheme of things, these things kind of started to ball together, and then ultimately you have this huge snowball of mistakes coming at you to hit you in the face, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So a nice safe pick like that is going to be huge. And also going into the mid lane against the Victor, I'm curious how he's going to pilot around that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely something that this is definitely something to see. I mean, we've seen you lack style on the Victor before, and it's definitely pretty good. I think it's going to be more important to this particular game because we want to be able to form a line of scrimmage. You want to be able to make, not form a line of scrimmage, but make a spot on in the enemy team that Misfortune can point her ultimate. And right now we have 3 ways of doing that. We have Facebreaker, we have Gravity Well, and we have Solar Flare, right? The only problem is Butler has drafted around this Misfortune actually quite well by locking in the Orianna and by locking in the Malphite as well, because like a lot of other similar ultimates, like Jhin in the previous game and Xerath that we saw before, popping that ultimate is powerful, but it does put a target on your back. You are planted, and your team, the enemy team knows exactly where you are, right? They can follow, even if you are out of range, they can follow that cone backwards, and they know exactly where you are. You're planted for that whole time, and it can be interrupted with CC. So this might be an opportunity where Malphite might be able to get in and interrupt that big ultimate from Crop. And this is also not a champion that Crop has been playing. We've been seeing Crop play a lot more mobile, kind of more hyper carry types of champions, and not particularly snowbally like this Misfortune is, right? Misfortune, once she gets ahead, she's very strong and hard to stop, and has kind of a mid-game spike, right? She's not like a slow, just wait. Okay, here we are, right? She needs to get ahead early and then maintain that lead throughout the game, right?
Yeah.
You can do that on a hyper carry. You can do that on a Jinx. You can do that on a Zeri. You can do that on the champions that Crop have played before, the Vayne as well, right? It's not like hyper carries aren't snowbally, but it's more like Misfortune needs that snowball. That's what's important. And, we need to see that, but I've earned this rank is on a champion that doesn't really gank early. We're seeing that this kind of early game might need to be more facilitated by Volmi than I've earned this rank, because I've earned this rank is playing Graves. Graves is a champion that needs to sit and do full clears. And when you're playing a champion that needs to snowball early, that's not the type of jungler you want to be paired with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, at the same time, it's also good for Seton Hall that they're going up against this Ezreal Yumi combo because that's going to allow Volmi to stay, I'd say, relatively healthy until like that level 2 when they can start kind of sending it, looking for those openings that you were just talking about. Since they're not going to have Ivern as their facilitator in the early game, they need to make things happen on their own. And so if they can just stay healthy enough for that level 2 all-in engage and get on top of Carthago, and then manage to somehow get rid of that exhaust and still hit him with the second stun, they definitely might be able to make something happen. But it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean it's still Butler in that game number 2, the one that Seton Hall was able to win, was still held their own. You know, it's not like that game was very easy shut and close 20-minute game from Seton Hall there. That was, you know, nearly 30-minute game
Yeah.
that Seton Hall had to fight in order to get to. Now, once they got to a certain point, they were able to close out the game. But, you know, once that's basically how it worked for teams that know how to end the game. You know, it's just like we've executed on our win strategies. We've put ourselves in a position to win, and now we're able to do so. Now let's see if they're able to do it one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone in the chat, your team needs all the hope, all the cope that it can get because this is the last game for tonight. Both of these teams have shown stellar performances, have gotten themselves one victory already, and a lot is on the line here. Just to reiterate, for the Butlers, if they win this thing, then they still have a chance to get into the playoffs. And SHU is looking to stay undefeated right now. They've beaten the likes like DePaul University. Surely they're not going to falter to the underdogs like the Butlers. But
Yeah.
we will have to see.
Yeah, Butler here is definitely looking pretty is still looking pretty strong coming into this game. I you know, Carthago and Mojo Romo in a fairly safe lane. They don't need to be super aggressive, which means that they, you know, they can play pretty far back and not give Cromp that snowball that he needs in order to get ahead. They have a very beefy frontliner that can tank some of the damage that Misfortune throws out with their ultimate, is able to interrupt it as well. They have a really great draft here. I'm loving the draft from Butler. They've been having some pretty solid early games so far. I'm waiting to see how this works out.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely need to make something happen early on here. And even if, you know, even if you just go even early on, a lot of the people you're in their draft, it's going to allow them to do a whole lot of damage in this kind of mid game when we see these skirmishes break out and look for opportunities there. But we are going to have to see, and we see that Ivor is going to be starting on this red buff. Will this be the game we finally see him be slain, or will his reign of terror continue is the ultimate question for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, Ivor in this rank definitely has a bounty on his head. You know, he's been influential in every single game he's played. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Are we doing this? Are we?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay,
Keep going. Keep going.
All right. All right. He's definitely got a bounty on his head. You know, he has not died across multiple series and has been insanely influential across multiples of them. And this might be the time for Volte to maybe pressure that. But, you know, it's already pretty nerve-wracking to go up against someone who is Grandmaster rank in the first place, and then also, you know, be on a champion that needs to power farm as well. Like Kane can gank early and has some definitely easy to set up ganks, but, you know, in these early levels isn't as powerful as he could be, right? He needs to wait for that transformation to truly come online. As dropping Volmi, doing some really, really deep warding into the enemy jungle right now.
Yeah, and I mean, understandably so, right? They know that there needs to be that facilitator early on to get Carthago that lead, so want to drop that down just to be absolutely certain that there's no gank coming by anytime soon. They really don't have to be worried, but they don't have the insight that we do. So, you know, it is what it is. Right now, Wave State not quite in the position to get that full level 2 engage going, so they're going to have to wait, buy themselves a bit more time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely Seton Hall looking to at least start to defend their undefeated title here. The only other team to have an undefeated record coming out of the regular season was St. John's in the fall. Previously, I don't think we've had a whole lot of other undefeated folks. I mean, we've had a lot of folks go like maybe like lots of wins and maybe one loss, like 7-1. But for the most part, we haven't had a whole lot of folks who were like, yes, 100% undefeated, right? Yeah. So Seton Hall looking to add themselves that kind of short list of folks who went fully undefeated in the regular season of Big East as we get closer and closer to the finals here. Is now Voltaire visiting the top lane.
Oh,
Butler in some
Lord.
trouble.
Yep, visiting indeed, and he's not here with pizza because this time around he's looking to take out Bluebird. Won't quite find it though, unfortunately, so is gonna go ahead and back off. And like you were saying, right, they are defending that undefeated status. Like you're saying, there's not a lot of teams that can say they've done that, and you gotta remember, just like 2 hours ago, we literally watched SHU deny that title from DePaul University in a absolutely commanding fashion. So it would definitely be quite a travesty if they end up losing that spot as well to, well, I don't want to say like a team as Butlers and as like a negative sense, but like just simply a team that's been struggling somewhat more and like definitely still has a lot to learn and grow.
Yeah, for sure. Now as Reverbero Neckington Jr. definitely duking it out up in this top lane here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, still waiting for any sort of like real hard engages to come out. Drag is up and now on the board. In fact, gonna have to wait and see if we prioritize kind of an early drag take from Ivern, though he tends to be the type that likes to make things happen on the map first before he actually goes for it. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, once again, this is a game that we're not really paying attention to the early game here. We're really looking for the mid game. This is when a lot of these champs are going to start to pop off, right? Miss Fortune needs a couple items under her belt. Ezreal is going to be building a tier of the goddess. Victor is going to need those levels in order to stack up his passive, right? This is going to be this early game here is going to be a farm fest. There's going to be some fighting, right? They can't, obviously a lot of these champions want to be able to get advantages earlier than their opponents, right? So they're still going to be fighting back and forth, as we've seen from Ulaxile and Butler and Levi. Here's Ivern this rank, comes in from the side.
Oof, quite a bit of damage going on. That's going to set him very behind in his wave. Now there's going to have to be a whole lot more careful, especially going into someone as bursty as the Victor.
Yeah. But once again, this is going to be a game of the mid game, right? Once we get to like levels 8, 9, 10, 11, around that area, you know, we're going to see Crop popping off. I've earned this rank popping off. Ulax style starting to really pop off.
Yep, really just gonna have to wait and see here. And I mean, obviously, if any team manages to even get themselves that lead in the early game, that's just gonna be huge for them when we get into that mid game, and then we'll know exactly who to be looking at. But at the moment, God, so much double shot damage coming out here from Crop, but the Yuumi just being able to resuscitate all that and heal back. Voltaire almost being taken out the Shadow Step, giving him quite a bit of heal though. Close call to say the least. And Ivern in this ring already doing a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely looking real tough right now. We already have a decent chunk of damage being thrown around by a lot of these folks right now. But it's definitely going to go upwards for sure. We definitely need to keep our eyes on a lot of these, especially on Crop. You know, the biggest thing I always talk about Miss Fortune is that people are like, oh, Miss Fortune isn't good anymore. She got nerfed at the end of season 12 and now people don't play her. It's like, no, false. Like Miss Fortune, yeah, incorrect. Like, I don't know how to drive this home enough. Miss Fortune's ultimate was untouched. Like, she had some of her early numbers nerfed and she had Make It Rain nerfed. Like, they never touched her ultimate. The lethality build from Miss Fortune is still insanely powerful. It's just that other things have risen to power instead of, are easier to execute and are better overall than putting all our eggs into the Miss Fortune basket, right? So now that's really the only difference. Miss Fortune plus lethality is still insanely powerful, and you have to respect it. You know, if once Crop gets some lethality under they get some lethality in their pockets here, it's going to be really tough to deal with it. However, it might look like they're looking for maybe a little bit more of a consistent build here, which, you know, it's still fine, but, you know, lethality Miss Fortune is still very powerful.
Yeah, I think Crop just has to pay respect to the shield bow after how many times it saved him in that Vayne game. So now he's got to do his due diligence, right? He's got to pay respect where respect is due. And so most likely going to build into that, but we'll have to wait and see. Who knows? Maybe change his mind or something like that. But for that, first dragon going to go into the hands of SHU. Attempted steal coming up from Carthago there with the True Shot Barrage, but not quite going to fight the target.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an attempt was made. It's better not to. It's better to than not to at all. I think it's a really good idea from Ezreal to try to steal it right there, because SHU has been kind of on top of these very early Drakes a whole lot. Trying to get this Dragon Soul very early on is now, I've earned this rank. Might have found out Voltaire here.
Yeah, indeed, popping the ghost to keep up with him. A whole lot of damage coming out. The flash coming out from Voltage as well. But here comes Nekton Jr. on his way down. It does have the ultimate, so if they want to go in now, would definitely be the time going to use it. And here's the Alma Transpass, and that's going to be first blood into the hands of Voltage. The flash face breaker, though, over the wall. Ulac style, taking him out in a very stylish fashion. And they are going to go 1-for-1.
Got 1-for-1, but the kill goes on to Malphite, which is not exactly who you'd like to have the kill on. Once again, Malphite is he's fine. He doesn't really need a whole bunch of gold in his pockets, but I think you'd rather see the kill onto Kayn. But Kayn is getting a whole bunch of souls from that engagement, to say the least. So he's going to be able to turn that into his either his Frost form or his Shadow Assassin.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that plays out. Once again, I don't think Shadow Assassin is particularly bad against this enemy team here. Like, I actually think that this might be the best team to use Shadow Assassin, but that's the showstopper right there. Facebreaker 2.
Indeed. Oh my god, just barely died in the true damage by flashing, but he's got a long way to run if he wants to escape this one. And Ivern isn't letting him go anywhere anytime soon. One more auto attack should seal the deal. What? You let him go? What? Oh.
I guess he wasn't in range to get that last auto attack. I guess he didn't have ultimate available either. It was really close. It just looked weird because he just stopped moving for a moment there.
Just kind of at him.
Yeah, I'm just confused mid lane.
Shockwave did come out. So much damage. Needs one more auto attack. Got a flash, and there it is. A very nice flash to get out of the Gravitum well, and will pick up the kill. And just like that, Butlers are looking back. They are looking like they know what they're doing once again.
Yeah, it's one really, really good. Really good job by Levi there. Going to be able to grab themselves a decent chunk of gold and even out more and more, as now they're up 2-1 in this game. So far, they're down just a little bit thanks to a lot of the farming that basically Crop has been doing in this bot lane right now. 30 CS almost, or 20 and some change up on their opponent here. And they have that dragon as well. So a whole lot of gold in this bottom half of the map. But I think if you're Seton Hall, that's exactly where you want it.
Yeah, so I gotta say though, for such a aggressive engage comp as we see in the bot lane for SHU, really not a lot going down. Has just been doing a great job of just, you know, staying behind the minions, staying in good optimal positions that he doesn't get dove on, and still overall not really used to not much going down in the bot lane. Normally that's where we really see most of the action.
Yeah, I do want to say I think we might have undersold this a little bit, but I've earned this rank has died. I've earned this rank died.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my god, he died. Yeah.
How did I not say anything about this?
Yeah.
That is just,
we were so caught in the moment that we forgot that oops.
Lord.
Yeah, well, you know, all things must, as you've been saying, all good things must come to an end. And,
yeah.
You know, after this long time, after about I'd say what is it, an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours of in-game League of Legends time, I've earned this rank has finally died.
It's finally perished. His reign of terror is over for the 10 seconds that it takes for him to respawn, but that's still something. We'll take those, honestly, at this point, as we do see that he's moving into this bot lane. Gonna see if he can try and find something. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Ulac style in a terrible position, getting hit by everything, and goodbye, good night. Meanwhile, in this bot lane, the cleanse coming out here from Carthago, so he can get away. Rift Herald is gonna get dropped, is gonna crash, and this first turret should go down. Gold will be split 3 ways, though, so it's not gonna all be funneled into the Misfortune like they probably like it to be. But regardless, that is first turret down.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all funneled into the Misfortune, but I don't think it's the end of the... Oh, wait a minute. Flurper might have bitten off a little bit more than they could chew up here.
Yeah. Oh, no. You gotta kill him. Kill him quick. Close one.
Okay. So that was really, really close right there. Oh, wait. Nekton Jr. up in the top lane.
Yeah, he's trying his best, and it should be a field that is sealed. One more auto attack will do it. The showstopper. He's trying his best, but it just won't be enough.
Yeah, I mean, so I did really want to quickly mention Carthago, last minute getting the Shelly there, not getting the charge off is really, really important, because that damage on tier 2s is going to stick. Tier 2 turrets do not heal. So that's really, really good job that they were able to get that really, really close there. However, Crop not getting the solo gold for the kill there, not the end of the world, honestly, because they're already been so far up on CS in general that looking at this build how it is right now, this is perfectly fine, right? They have their mythic item online, they have some more in their pockets. right? If it's not the end of the world that they haven't gotten all that local gold, but now look what they're able to do. Their bot lane is now able to roam around the map. They have Victor roaming into the top, and they have a Flurper Burbler rotating into this bot position here.
Yeah, absolutely, just managing to open up so many opportunities for them around the map. However, hopefully they can actually make something out of it, as at the moment, Butlers are still up in kills, but not in gold, actually, just because of that first turret going down, the Dragon being taken out as well. So we're going to have to see a whole lot of damage going on here to Neckington Jr. Definitely needs to be careful. Ulac style is not to be trifled with, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. As now, I do like this kind of roams across the map. I mean, Victor going into a matchup against Malphite is really good. Victor having that kind of shield that he can kind of on demand throw out, that whenever Malphite goes in for a Q, is really, really good. It means that he can tank through a lot of the damage that Neckington Jr. is going to be throwing out, especially as he's trying to stack up that tier, right? Now Malphite is finally back to go and match the set once more, which means bad times for the set, but it does mean that Butler is basically playing Seton Hall's game right now. Seton Hall is controlling the pace of how this game is going, and we can see that through how now every single lane has now swapped to match how Seton Hall is swapped, right? Seton Hall is in the driver's seat. They don't need to make any sort of aggressive moves just quite yet, and they are doing a good job of making sure that they are pressuring around the map and making sure that crop is available to all portions of the map, especially when they want to make plays like this.
Yeah, Volte just being able to get out just barely with the Shadow Step. Gonna see if they can find something in return here. The final chapter being popped here. Let's see if they can make something happen. Though not quite gonna get anything, and instead they run right into the Solar Flare. But the Almost Trust pass down, not gonna do enough damage. So the flash is collateral damage, almost taking out Volte. He will not die. The MF also so much damage. Can they get these kills? Both sides just barely escaping with their lives.
Yeah, that Misfortune ultimate was a little bit held on to for just a little bit too long, though. Once it was popped, it did some damage, but it was all on the tail end there. It really didn't do as much as probably Crop or the rest of Seton Hall would have liked. It ended up being just a 1 for nothing there, so not exactly a trade you were looking for. And, you know, it does give Butler some gold, but Seton Hall is still in the lead here. We have Rift Herald spawning in about a minute. We have the next Drake spawning in about 2. I don't expect to see these lane swaps changing anytime soon because they still want Crop unlocked. They want Crop in this mid lane so that he can move around a lot easier to some of these fights here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. We're so used to seeing Crop on these more like we were saying before, mobile ADCs, where he can kind of, you know, duck, bob, and weave in between these fights and just stay untouched. But this time around, he's playing an ADC where he needs to kind of just chill a little bit more in the back lane here with that ultimate. That's a lot of range he gets. He's got the Make It Rain as well, and so just overall, you know, definitely has to adapt to a bit of a different play style this time around.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is looking like a really good game for Seton Hall, and even though this is a champion that we're not exactly used to seeing Crop on, he's still playing this Misfortune pretty well. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the Kraken Slayer build. I think it's perfectly fine for Misfortune. It does mean that you're like the differences between your highs and your lows, right? When you're kind of playing around that very powerful ultimate, the differences between the time where your ultimate is up and your ultimate is down is just a lot lower, meaning that like your auto attacks are a lot more powerful, so that you don't need only your ultimate in order to deal damage to the enemy team, right? Yeah, it's fine, but I definitely prefer like the lethality build, just because look at what has been built so far by the enemy team, right? They have one person who is stacking armor, and it is Malphite, and that's it. Yeah. Crop is going to be grinding some plated steel caps in a bit, but that's really not going to be enough if this Misfortune were to grab lethality instead.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, you have a team that can very easily kind of set up these perfect ultimate spots for you, right? With the Solar Flare, you've got the Gravitational Field, you've got the Face Breaker from the set as well. So, either way, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Maybe that's just the secret sauce we're unaware of. We'll have to see if it does end up working out in the end, or if it comes back to bite them. But at the moment, SHU still doing a great job of staying ahead of gold-wise. Still have about a 3k gold lead on their hands, despite being somewhat down in kills. They are not down in objectives, to say the least. They've gotten every single tier 1 on the map. They've gotten every dragon that's been up so far, and they're looking to do that with the 3rd dragon as well. That's about to be up in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and now Butler is here to the fight a little bit first here. That solar flare coming down maybe a little too early here. It definitely does spot out a couple folks inside it, but now they're down a pretty crucial thing here as the fight starts out. The dragon has been pulled. See if they want to go contest it. Burbler's coming in from the side. I've earned this right.
Not today, though. Won't get the sun this time around, but the face breaker followed up by the showstopper, trying to do as much damage as they can. The ultimate coming out, but no one really there to hit. Look at those blue health bars getting lower and lower. First member is going to go down. Meanwhile, up top, Ivern chasing down Carthago. No one there to help him out. The team was a little bit busy, and now they're kind of in this pinched position right now. Ivern looking to go in. A whole lot of damage on a double kill. Very nicely done with that collateral damage doing so much. And just like that, they have Butlers on the run, managing to take out two members. Not much that SHU can do, not that much that Butlers can do at the moment, and they will have to retreat.
Yeah, I mean, they lost the Drake, but they won a pretty good team fight for themselves. They could pivot over towards Baron if they wanted to, but it looks like they're pivoting over towards this tier 2 turret. They should be able to get a whole lot. They do have Shelly available to them. They should be able to kill this turret before the charge happens. Yeah, that's really good. So not going to be able to use the HP, so you should be able to get a charge on the tier 3. Not as sticky as the damage onto the tier 2 turret, but they might actually be able to sneak a kill here. There it is. Turret goes down.
Yeah.
Might look for more.
Get the turret indeed. Ripto gonna crash into this inhibitor as well and take that out for him. And finally, Shelly's reign of terror is over. Now let's see if Butlers can make anything happen from this volume. So tanky. The flash coming out to dodge everything, and they just can't quite find anything. The soul flare gets dropped as well to stop the push. And with that, Butlers aren't gonna be able to get anything out of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was really, really close to being a disastrous for Seton Hall right there. But they were I mean, also luckily they were able to get that inhibitor as well. But this is a really good call for Butler right here.
The bait though, they make it look like they're starting the Baron, but no way that Ulaxal actually gets out of that one alive. The showstopper into the masses, and so Haybringer, whole lot of damage. They are going to use that shockwave, but it's not really going to find anyone. And once again, Butlers are on the run. They need to get out of there. They keep getting these blue health bars incredibly low, but at the end of the day, they're incredibly low too, and it's just never quite enough.
Yeah, I mean, but that's all you needed to do, right? You didn't need to get any kills in this team fight here. You just needed to scare Butler off of the Baron, right? This was a reason I like this call so much is because Seton Hall immediately was starting to reset here. So because all of Butler was up, they have some really good damage at this neutral objective thanks to Oriana's passive, thanks to the amount of gold that Voltaire was able to put together. Like, this was a perfect opportunity to try and sneak Baron. They even almost got the kill into Ulax style for a moment there, so this was really, really good call to try and gain something sneaky. The problem is Seton Hall was really, really quick to react. They didn't need to get any kills. They just need to scare them off the Baron.
Yeah, scared them off. They did. They had them running for the base, and now that they're back in, they're all looking healthy again. And time to farm a little bit more and need to start hitting these power spikes. Right now, we are kind of in that mid game right now. We're seeing these spikes slowly come out. Crop, even though he doesn't even have a single kill yet, he's only got one assist, still hitting like a truck to say the least. Same with Flubber, who isn't scared to get in there with the set. And I mean, nothing really has to be said for Ivern as well, just hitting like an absolute unit. But now Bullets Nudge is there with Mojo, but they're not quite gonna find anything, so instead they're gonna go ahead and fall back. And we do see the red form has also come out, and now SHU is actually going to be the one to sneak and stealth the Baron here. No one really there to contest at the moment. The true shot right
here they come.
But it's way too early. It's all going to be up to most likely Necandine Jr. if he can get some kind of ultimate in there, unless they're able to scare them off. They are indeed. Voltaire trying his best to catch up with them, but just can't quite get to them. It doesn't want to go in alone, so they scare them off. And you know what? That's all you got to do at that point.
Ulax style currently pushing on the bottom side here, but they have to answer this push from the super minions in the base, and they're fighting around the Baron pit.
Indeed. Levi able to use that shockwave to get them off his back, and now Crop in a bad position, but the solar flare being connected onto Necandine Jr. There's nowhere he can go, and he's gonna go down. Voltaire trying to find something, but can't quite get it. Another Zenith Blade land, another day shield break lands, and then the showstopper. That's the double kill. They're not quite gonna catch up to Cart, but that doesn't matter because that's a free Baron for him.
Yeah, this is now it's the free Baron. This is Baron time right now. And if we can pan over to the Nexus turrets really quickly, I did want to take a look to see how much damage we were able to get. Yeah, that's about half HP onto that turret right there. So that's already a decent chunk. Ulax Styles in some trouble.
Ooh, indeed. It's the 1v1 here with Mojo and Ulax Style. Not quite gonna find anything though. Whole lot of damage coming out there, chasing him down, doing as much as they can. The heals coming out though. Ulax Style running for his life. If he can just find something, but he doesn't have it. A true shot barrage. Very nicely calculated.
Downtown.
Yep, very
True shot
nicely
barrage
done.
from downtown.
He did the math. He knew the angles. He sent it, and it connected.
Yeah, the what is it? It's eternal sunshine, and spotless mind. I don't remember. I just the math stuff. The math appeared in front of his face, and he suddenly knew everything. That's what happened. Now, Infernal Drake has spawned. We got some bounties on this for Butler here. Should be able to get them back in the game gold wise, but now it's looking pretty troublesome for them.
Okay, TP coming in though, and Bar is a bad spot at the moment. Showstopper into the crowd will not go down. So much healing coming out of Flubber, taking out Carthago. That's going to be huge. Ding Jr. trying his best to get on top of court, but it doesn't matter because it goes down as well. And just like that, every single member of Butler's is falling. Levi, last man standing. He's got to defend the base. There's super minions in there already, and SHU's like, screw it. We don't even need this dragon. We just need your base. They see the TP's coming in already. A double shockwave, trying to buy himself as much time as possible, hoping that the turret will do some work, but it will not. Ladies and gentlemen, the SHU believers have been rewarded as they will stay undefeated once again.
Yeah, denying Butler's hopes of getting into the top 4. Seton Hall maintains their undefeated streak in the Big East Spring final, or the spring regular season here, going into this finals, going into the semifinals with an undefeated first seed. What an amazing split for them.
Yeah, absolutely an amazing performance to say the least. Looking a little rocky in game 1, not gonna lie. And then someone woke them up. They realized, oh, we're about to get embarrassed. Let's not let that happen. And then they brought it back. Game 2, amazing job. Game 3, amazing job. And regardless, even though Butler do end up taking the L today, they still definitely put up a great fight, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, this does definitely feel bad for the Butler Bulldogs here.
Yeah.
It does mean that they're now tied for 5th place with Villanova University Wildcats down there and out of contention for playoffs, which is a pretty big for them. They had 2 games lined up today. Both of them were real tough matchups. Yeah. And, you know, they were able to come out on top in the first, but they weren't able to do so in the second. So now, yeah, that just kind of ends their playoff dreams this time around. They were able to get into the playoffs in the fall, but now in the spring here, you know, they're not going to have that much luck.
Yeah, a different story this time around. They do fall a little bit short. And I'm a little worried for anyone that's going to be having to face Seton Hall, because going up against the undefeated champions of Big East so far, that's no easy feat, to say the absolute least.
I mean, it's looking to be Seton Hall versus St. John's in this first round, and what I would assume would be the first round here, and then DePaul versus UConn in the other. So yeah, these are 2 interesting matchups to go into this. But right now, I believe we have an interview waiting for us by the Victor team, Seton Hall University. We're going to get a round 2 interview with Seton Hall coming into this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.